Eau de Lalique is the very first unisex marketed fragrance by the house of Lalique. I'm excited to see how they did. Stay tuned in. Let's take a look. What's going on, YouTube fragrance family? Welcome to another Robes 08 fragrance review. Today I'm going to put my nose on the house of Lalique, one of my favorite fragrance houses, and one of their fresh scents, perfect for spring. This one called Eau de Lalique. Eau de Lalique hit the shelves in 2003. Bottle sizes are the 1.7 ounce. The one you see here is the 3.3 ounce. And there's an actual big boy, a 6.8 ounce bottle. Concentration, as you can see, is eau de toilette. There's a possible discontinuation on this fragrance. I could not find it on the Lalique fragrance website, and a lot of discounters don't even have this in stock. So eBay is almost your best bet. So harder to find, and that goes to pricing. It varies. It can go as low as $30 where I got it for several years back. Right up to $400 on eBay. I've seen a 6.8 ounce. Somebody crazy enough to list it for $400. I don't know if there's anybody crazy enough to pay that. But when these fragrances are hard to find, that's the asking price. Now, the noses behind this fragrance right here, it's a two-headed monster. These are two perfumiers that are world-renowned, have done some great fragrances. Their resumes speak for themselves. One of the perfumiers, my favorite perfumier of all time, Monsieur Jean-Claude Elena. He knows how to make fresh scents, so I can't wait to see what his stamp is in this one. And of course, the other perfumier also has a great resume, Emily Copperman. So now let's take a look at the note breakdown for Eau de Lalique. In the introduction, we have mandarin orange, pimento, bergamot, the garden dill, which is going to be, to me, the different note in this fragrance, the one that makes this fragrance stand out. There's also cardamom and lemon, so very, very fresh opening. In the mid, we have, of course, we have some cinnamon, so we have some spice here, and we got some florals, hibiscus, and of course the freesia. In the base, we have some woods here, sandalwood, gaiac wood, and we got some benzoin to give it some sweetness, and of course the musk. Major notes to this nose right here would have to be the dill. And that is good news to everybody that thought, this has dill in it. Let's see what it gives me. Yes, it has a big amount of dill in this fragrance. Also, the bergamot has its signature up top, and the musk more into the dry down of the fragrance. Group, this is a floral musky fragrance. You're going to get a lot of florals in the mid, and the musk, of course, is going to be your backbone at the end of this fragrance. Now, how many sprays and wear with Eau de Lalique? The one thing with application with this fragrance, I've owned this fragrance for several years. The fragrance review for this fragrance is well overdue. I've been ready to review this fragrance for a while, but either way, going through my motions with this fragrance, I've noticed that doesn't matter how many sprays you do with this fragrance. 3 is probably the minimum. But other than that, it's up to you. Obviously, this is liquid gold right now just because of availability of this fragrance. So you don't want to go too much. Usually I go my 1 on the chest, 2 on the neck, so 1 on each side here, and then 2 on the arms. I'm wearing a long sleeve, so I'd go pulse points right here. Good to go with 5. Now let's remind me of that introduction just a little bit. I'm going to do a couple hits here in the back of my hand to remind me of this introduction. And the first thing that comes to mind, just sniffing it in the air right now, is very transparent, watery, citruses, and there's a green aspect to this fragrance. I'm very thin as a fragrance. I love it, and the dill's already popping off my skin here, but from first sniff, you get hit with those beautiful citruses, authentic, juicy, and absolutely a great introduction to any scent. This has to be the work of the great Elena, because he knows how to make some great citruses in a fragrance. And this one, no slouch in that aspect at all. I'm really feeling a lot of these citruses, very authentic and juicy and well done. Now on to the dill, because that's what really sold me on this fragrance, is how much dill am I going to get. It is the most interesting note in the note breakdown. And it doesn't disappoint in Eau de Lalique. It really does not. It is the main facet in this fragrance, and it starts pushing itself right off the get-go. and makes this scent greener and greener with time. It keeps pushing this theme as a vegetal herbal dill more than anything. It really just makes this scent really unique with its presence, since not many scents really utilize dill in a fragrance. I can't even think on top of my head. I think this is the very first dill-based fragrance that I've smelt during my journey. I'm not saying that there isn't any more fragrances with dill, but the use of dill here, simply outstanding. The secondary notes really engulf the dill, make it really a solid fragrance. Now, there's also a watery, dewy aspect to this fragrance, hence the name Eau de Lalique, water of Lalique, with the dill makes it a very interesting combo, more into the heart. The herbal dill from my wearings come in and out of the scent. It did play like a little game with me sometimes. At times it would take full spotlight, and I just really feel a lot of dill in this fragrance. And at other times it would just come out, take a step back, but you'd feel other things like, of course, the citruses, the watery aspect. Cardamom's going to come through with this fragrance, of florals and some musk. So it really does come in and out of the fragrance, keeping things interesting. It really is a great fragrance. Now, the dill itself, I know a lot of people, when they think dill, they're thinking pickles, right? Does it smell like dill pickles? And the one thing that I think about dill pickles, dill pickle chips, things like that, to me, it does not smell like that. And I know a lot of people are going to think that way just because in the culinary world, dill is mostly known for its use with, of course, pickles. To me, it's more of an herbal dill as a standalone herb. That's how I project this dill. Very authentic and very beautiful. The more I drove my nose to dissect Eau de Lalique, the more I appreciated the dill and the use of it in this fragrance. Now, more into the dry down, there is some cardamom in this fragrance here too, that gives this fragrance some depth. It backs the scent, but it doesn't pull this fragrance away from its fresh theme. There's some sandalwood and some musk here also to backbone the scent. More with the citruses kind of pulling themselves back. These notes start showing themselves a little bit more into, of course, the heart to the deep dry down of the fragrance. So you're going to get a little more musk. You're going to get some, of course, some sandalwood and the cardamom. Also, there's a small pinch of cinnamon here, just a small pinch of it. Also pimento, a little bit of that. It gives the scent a very, very, very mild, spicy aspect in the fragrance. Very faint. It aren't the pimento and the cinnamon, not huge in this fragrance, but it does give it some sort of kick to the fragrance, more into the heart to the dry down of the fragrance. But it isn't a central theme in this fragrance at all. Mostly what I get in the secondary part of this fragrance is throughout the fragrance, you're still getting a lot of push from the dill, but you're getting a lot of the florals here back in the fragrance. The freesia, the hibiscus come through. The hibiscus comes through with a musky, like a jasmine, like accord kind of like blend. The freesia itself throws a little peppery hit with its floral freshness. So you're going to get some florals in here. Would I say this is more of a feminine fragrance just because of the talk about florals? No, not at all. It really is a unisex based fragrance. The base has some warming qualities. However, as a whole, the scent continues to push a soft, clean scent. It continues to push that herbal, garden, natural smell that I love in the opening right until the end. The color of the juice, as you can see here, very much light green, and that is the color that I would think of when wearing this fragrance. So overall, Eau de Lalique is an herbal green dill-based fragrance. It's very watery, aromatic, and it has some musky qualities. It's easy to wear, and it has that watercolor feeling that I get from a lot of Elena fragrances, most notably his Jardin series from Hermes. I did not know really what to expect from this fragrance because it has some spicy notes like cinnamon and pimento and quite a bit of florals here. It's got a couple florals in the mid, but these notes ran through fairly perfectly as they're all fairly secondary. I'm talking about the florals to almost really thin notes that really don't do too much in this fragrance, mostly like the cinnamon and pimento. Really, it's more of a green theme here. Lalique did not disappoint with this one. A rather unique scent, to be quite honest, and a unique scent profile of dill that was utilized and pulled off flawlessly. that makes this fragrance very easy to wear and well constructed. Recommended age for this one, anybody can really pull this off. I really don't think the teens out there are going to be really interested in this fragrance, but really any age, and also very much unisex. Women, men, anybody can wear this. Fragrances that it reminds me of, it really has, of course, like I said, that kind of watercolor feel that a lot of Elena fragrances has, especially the Jardin series. It kind of reminds me of that a little bit. And it also does remind me of Bulgari's tea-based line. Very easy to wear, fresh fragrances, really something that would be along that line, very much watercolor based and very much built for spring. Best time to wear this fragrance. This is, it screams out daily wear, work wear, casual, mostly daily. Seasons, it just screams out spring. If you are, you've been a fan of my channel for a long time, you may have seen this in some of my top 10, top 20 designer spring list for good reason. Very aromatic fragrance, very unique fragrance for the spring. And also you can throw this on in the summer and even at the start of fall a little bit. Development, linear, average, or complex. Just like a lot of Elena's and Copperman fragrances, they very much tippy-toe into the average range. They're not very linear, but they're not very complex either. They're just right in there as average. Work appropriate, yeah. Signature scent worthy, it can be. Just because it's so scarce now, I don't think that would be a safe bet as a signature scent. Now let's get into the rating system. Let's see how this bad boy did on a rating up to 10. So let's take a look at it. Projection and longevity, as you can see, has some fairly low scores here. Again, we don't sugarcoat things. I'll let you guys know some good and the bad of every single fragrance. Projection gets 4 bottles out of 10. Almost a skin scent with this one. It really doesn't jump off the skin too much. And that goes to longevity, 5 bottles out of 10. Same thing as far as the wearings go. I was really going into that 4 to 6 hours, and that's about it. You're really pushing it at more than 6 hours, sometimes a little less than 4. That goes to compliment factor. Compliment factor is surprising for me. This type of scent, I wasn't expecting it. I'm giving it an 8 bottles out of 10. I was not expecting that high of a score. A lot of people were enjoying this fragrance. And that goes to uniqueness. That has to be an 8. Just the use of dill gives us an 8 alone. And the use of it and the quality of the dill and how much of it was a part of this scent is unique. As you know, some fragrances have some very unique notes. Either you don't get them at all or they're very minimal. This is not a note that is utilized that often in the fragrance game, so kudos to the perfumiers. They did an outstanding job with this one. That goes to pricing versus what you get. I want to give it a high score. Like I gave it a 9 here because Lalique fragrances usually are under $100. If you can find this for, I think I bought this for $30. I'll be honest. I can't believe some fragrances, they just discontinue like that and the prices skyrocket. But it was definitely worth the price that I paid for it. Now that pricing factor is kind of a moot point in this fragrance review. Versatility, 8 bottles out of 10. Very high as versatility goes. It does have a little kick to it, but it's very transparent too. So it is almost one of those fragrances that you can almost wear year round, mostly built for spring. Of course, summer and a little bit of fall here. And that goes to smell, 8 bottles out of 10. Very solid release from Lalique. Lalique does very good in fragrance reviews for me. They usually don't have a bomb on their hands in regards to fragrance reviews with me. I really do like their scents, and this one an 8, very, very solid. And that goes to an overall score. Eau de Lalique will get an 8 bottles out of 10 for me. Very solid release from Lalique. If you're looking at me and you're saying, Mark, I want an herbal dill-like fragrance, this is the first one on the list because it's the only one on the list. And it's well done. So I would say an 8 as an overall score. And that goes to buy, try, or pass. Eau de Lalique gets the buy treatment. Again, I need to give you guys a disclaimer, especially people that take my word as gospel. Do not go out there on eBay and spend $100 to $400 that they are asking for it on eBay. You'd really have to do your research. I would say value-wise, this is very much worth. If this seems interesting to you, to me, if I put a price on it, I would say designer pricing, right? $70 and under would be a solid purchase for Eau de Lalique, and you won't be too disappointed in regards to what you're getting. And that goes to, of course, thank you for watching my review on Eau de Lalique, a fragrance that has not been talked about on YouTube. So I'm very happy. I wish I would have reviewed this 5 years ago when I had it. But at least we do have a review on YouTube now. If anybody's interested in this fragrance and wanted to see something fresh, this is a fresh review on Eau de Lalique. So as always, if you have smelt this fragrance, good or bad, good, bad, and the ugly, I love hearing your comments down below. Please let me know what you guys think about Eau de Lalique. And remember, the greater pour fragrance will make a lasting impression. Choose your scent wisely. Thanks for watching.